Okay, this hopefully will help you complete your assignment that we started in class today regarding wind erosion and sand dunes. You have this paper, you started it in class, and your job before you come back to the class tomorrow is to finish the experiment. If you are at home and you lost your paper, I will post it. If you don't have a printer, you can just copy down the information on your own piece of paper. It's pretty simple. All right, so let's begin. First, you have to get to that virtual lab, which is not the easiest thing to find. So you are going to go to Hello ID. You're going to click on the Think button, Science Fusion, and select. Get you somewhere. This page looks different on my teacher screen than it will on your student screen. You will see something that says My Library. Go ahead and click on My Library, and then you're going to see an icon pop up like this. It's a piece of paper, and it will say Science Fusion Student Access, Grade 8. That is the one you want to click on, Student Access. Okay, it will take you to this page. Next step, click on Unit 2, Earth's Surface, and you are going to go to Lesson 2, Erosion and Deposition by Wind, Ice, and Gravity. And you are going to select Virtual Lab. Okay. It is going to play music, it's going to talk to you, it's going to walk you through stuff. But what I want on this paper is I want your results. So I'm going to give you some tips, and then you guys are going to complete it and bring it back to class tomorrow. All right, so slide 1, it gives you a little introduction. You'll investigate the effects of wind on beach dunes. So beach dunes are those sand dunes that protect maybe houses and stuff from the ocean. And they usually have signs that say don't walk on the dunes, and there's good reason for that. All right, so erosion and deposition of sand dunes. I'm going to try to advance through this quickly. Gives you some more information. Ooh, isn't that so pretty? That's sand underneath a microscope. All right, you have a question here. In which direction do you think the wind is blowing? Take a look at that. Which way? So this is what the lab is all about. Is it blowing from left to right or right to left? And you can see, based on that change in shape, it is blowing from the left to the right. And it's kind of cutting it down and moving that sand dune. So, from left to right, okay? Moving ahead. So we have wind erosion and deposition. Erosion is moving, deposition is dropping. The gentle side of the slope is always the side where the wind is coming from. The steep side of the sand dune is the side of deposition. All right, moving on. All right, so now we're going to demonstrate this and explore how wind affects sand dunes. And here is what you'll use. We are going to use this virtual lab. Talks a little bit here about dunes, their function. We're going to explore them and how they move in response to erosion and deposition by the wind. All right, it's talking. Sorry, we can't speed this up. I'm going to try to advance. All right, so it's a beach dune model. All right, so in here, make a prediction. Do you think varying wind speed will change the location of the dune? Do you think the dune will always move in the same direction? Why or why not? Okay, I'm going to speed this up, so I'm just going to say yes. If you want, put a little bit more information. I think it's going to, yes, it's going to have an effect. Wasn't an exemplar answer. Okay, and then it says, how do you think varying wind speed will change the location of that beach dune? I don't know. If the wind is faster, how is that going to affect the location of the sand dune? That's what we're going to investigate. Now we're going to plan our work. Okay, you're going to describe your plan. I'm going to change wind speed and measure distance. Okay? again, brief answer, so it will let me move on. Okay. And now we can hopefully begin. All right, so you are going to change your average wind speed from 1 to 3 to 5 to 7 to 10, and that is already predetermined, and you're going to run the experiment at these different wind speeds for 10 years and measure the change. The measurement part is always the tricky part. So up here you select a wind speed. I am going to select 1 meter per second. Here I'm going to run it for 10 years because that's what it says in my data table, and now I'm going to hit play. So I know this is kind of slow. I apologize, I can't speed it up, but it's something that I want you guys to explore. And having piles of sand with hair dryers in our classroom just wasn't an option, although it could have been interesting, but not worth the risk of getting grains of sand in anyone's eyeballs. Okay, so here we go. Miss Hi Susan, it says 11 years. I know, it's roughly 10. So now what we have to do is we're going to click the distance measurement tool to measure the distance between the red and the black lines. Here, this is how we do it. This is the part that was kind of tricky, and I'm sorry if I didn't explain it well in class. Hopefully this helps. So this little tool, I'm going to click it. This is my measuring stick. Now, this blue bar down below, down here, that's like a profile of what is happening up here on the beach. So this kind of gray shaded line is this red shaded line. That's where the dunes started. The dunes moved from here to here. This is the profile over 10 years. So when the winds were blowing 1 meter per second, this is how far it moves. So let's measure that. So you're going to, it's always going to be on the red line, and I'm going to shrink this so that it, let me see, is on the end dotted red, black line. So that's the distance right here on this blue bar from here to here. And the distance is 2.22 meters. So I can say average wind speed of 1 meter per second, over 10 years, 2.22 meters it moved. Direction. I was seeing some very interesting answers. So remember, north is indicated right here. Never eat soggy waffles. So the sand dunes are blowing, or they're moving to the east because they're moving to the right, and that is east. So that is my direction moved. Okay, you are going to repeat that for 3, 5, 7, and 10 meters per second for wind speed. I'm going to hit reset, and you'll repeat this process a few more times. And then you will, on your piece of paper, record your data and tell me what you learned. What happened? How did the wind speed affect erosion and deposition of the sand dunes based on your data? Time to science. Go ahead and give it a whirl. And then come back for the second experiment.